In this video, we'll take everything in this box, build a bike from it, and see how it rides. In this box is the Vanpowers City Vanture, a complete bike in the size of a box not much bigger than a wheel box. It's a build your own e-bike kit for getting around the city, and that's what caught my eye. You know I like tinkering with bikes, and when the email from Vanpowers showed up in my inbox, I was intrigued. I've seen plenty of e-bikes, but never one that you have to build yourself, frame and all. I had to give it a go. The City Vanture is built around a mortise and tenon style joint with a concealed battery in the down tube. It comes in 5 colourways and is generally suited to riders over 5'8". Here in the UK, it has a 250 watt motor with a stated max speed of 25 miles per hour and a range of 50 miles. The drivetrain is single speed, but it is connected with the Silent Gates carbon drive belts. So there's a few small bits of information for you. Now on to the build. Now I could have just jumped in and started to bolt everything together, but I took my time and followed the instructions. They're clear and precise, and I think well thought out. All the tools you need are supplied with the kit, but I did grab my torque wrench for all the bolts when it came to that stage. Fear not though, if you don't like the idea of assembling your own bike, there is an option to have the bike built for you from the factory. Assembly was pretty straightforward. Feed the cables through the tubes, gently fit them all together, and then when the time comes, check the alignment by eye and do all the bolts up. I have just over an hour's worth of footage from this build, so I'd say set yourself at least 2 hours to get it built. A definite kudos to Vanpowers here for making such a sleek assembly process. You might have seen the start. The kit comes with a photograph of your bike assembled at the factory, so everything comes roughly adjusted for you. The belt tension for me seemed pretty well set up out the box. The disc brakes needed a little tweaking to stop a tiny rub, and the handlebar spacing was pretty close, but yeah, all in all, it seemed pretty solid. For the assembly process as a whole, I'm impressed. It was a fun little morning project for me, something a bit different. Everything seemed to go as it should, apart from maybe the brake levers. Us folk in the UK have the front brake on the right and the rear on the left, but this was set up the opposite way. I did try and simply put the levers on the opposite side, but the brake hose wasn't long enough. You can see that in the video with the left hand lever upside down. I ended up putting them on as they are, but if you really want them set up UK style, your local bike shop should easily be able to swap the hoses over for you. But with that, the assembly is coming to an end. All the cables are neatly tucked away and all the bolts are fully torqued up. Before I take it on a ride though, it's suggested to give it a good 4-hour charge just to make sure the juices are flowing properly. But after that, it's ride time.
Boost. No, it's not too bad.
So after 100 kilometers of riding, what do I think? Well, before even getting on the bike, I had my concerns about the gearing, but after the first 100 kilometers, I think it's spot on for a city slicker. Combined with the 5 power levels, it's great. I ended up cruising around in mode 3 and up to 5 for the bigger hills, just like you do with normal gears. Each power level was progressive and smooth. Even turning off the bike mid-ride, I think it's fine to ride around the flats. The display is crisp and bright and the controls are easy to use. As with most bikes, the range didn't quite live up to the 50 miles. I think I managed 34 miles between charges, but that was with a good deal of mixed riding. I'd assume the 50 miles comes from the eco mode, but I switched it up quite a bit. The Gates belt drive was super smooth and silent. All you can hear from the bike while riding is the hum of the tyres and the free hub when coasting. I'd wanted to try the belt drive system for a while now, and so far it's living up to the hype. I'll just have to see how it is long term. For the other components on the bike, the Tektro brakes work well. They're a simple design and stop the bike without any issues. The Kendra tyres are definitely something I'd upgrade. They're at the cheaper end of the tyres spectrum, so the compound is pretty hard and the grip isn't the best. I'd have liked to have put wider tyres on, but unfortunately the frame tolerances are pretty tight with the 28C. If the bike ever got remodelled, I'd love to see enough clearance for a gravel tyre, something like the 45C. The original saddle, grips and pedals are all again on the cheaper side of things, and that's because these tend to be the parts swapped out first. I did all my riding with the charged spoon instead of the original saddle, but I kept the original grips and pedals. The grips felt great, but unfortunately I did lose a pedal cap. I don't know where that went. All in all, it's a solid bike. I had a good time assembling it, and I feel like it would make a great city bike for commuting. The power levels felt consistent and smooth, and the bike never felt too heavy with the power on. And most importantly, it felt comfy. Like I said before, if the bike ever had a remodel, I'd love to see space for wider tyres, but I'd also like to see mounts somewhere for a bottle cage and a rack. The bike is something new to this channel, and I love the experience. If you're interested in learning more about this bike, then please check out the links in the description to find more about Vanpowers and their range. Thank you for watching this video, and thanks to Vanpowers for supplying this bike. Ride safe, and I'll see you in the next one.